Okay. So welcome to all of you on the grammar day, and today we are going to discuss the important topic that is called the active and passive voice. Okay, so active and passive voice. Have you ever heard this word? Am I audible?
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay, okay. Well, actually, some messages displaying on my system that internet is unstable, so that's why I'm asking. Okay, so Siddharth is also with us. Welcome, Siddharth. Siddharth, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you are
Okay.
audible.
Okay, great. So now today we are
Good
going
evening.
to discuss the important topic that is called active and passive voice. Have you heard this term before? कभी कहीं सुना हो school days, college days में या in communication?
Yes.
Have you heard this word voice?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Now,
Yes.
before starting today's topic, I must ask from you guys, what do you mean by voice? VOICE. क्या मतलब समझते हैं voice? Active voice, passive voice. What does it mean?
We were using any activities. If you are doing any activities, we can use active kind of things.
If we are
So currently, if you are using currently, if you are doing something, it will be an active one.
okay, and then what is passive?
It's passive is like what we have completed. That can be a passive one.
Okay.
Whatever the activity is completed, it could be a passive one.
Okay. Any more inputs?
I think it's a voice of a subject.
Voice of a subject. Basically, voice means the way of speaking.
Yes.
Way of speaking. देखो, there are the two ways of speaking. जब भी whenever we speak, only there are the two ways. और वो कौन से ways हैं? Either we have to speak in active way or we have to speak in passive.
Passive way.
जिस तरीके से हम बात करते हैं, what are the ways of speaking? Only the two ways of speaking in entire English grammar, either the active way or the passive.
Passive way.
ठीक है? Now, active way, we already know. What is active? If I ask from Nikhil, what is the structure of an active sentence?
It's a subject plus verb plus object.
Very nice. Subject plus verb plus object. This is a structure of an active sentence. This is a structure of an active sentence. This is a structure of an active sentence. Now, we will later on discuss what is the structure of the passive sentence. But before starting this, you should know active sentence means that are very direct, very short and precise sentences. Direct होते हैं, short होते हैं, हम direct बोल देते हैं उन sentences को. If we know what is the structure of an active sentences, we can easily make the sentences, we can easily speak the sentences, and that sentences are easy to construct, that sentences are short. Right? So if we know all these things, so now my question is, so then why we are learning this passive voice now? Why we are learning this passive voice? It means kuch na kuch, so there is some importance of the passive voice also. Right? Are you guys getting my question? By learning the 12 tenses, Nikhil, please, by learning the 12 tenses, we must know how to frame the sentences of the active voice. Active voice sentences are very simple to construct. They are very, these sentences are short, these sentences are direct, right? So why we need to learn the passive voice? It means there are some objectives that we must know why we are learning the passive voice. So before starting the rules of the passive voice, you should know in which situation you have to use the passive voice. Clear this, right? Once you join this ITQ, so on the very first day, maybe your fluency coach asked this question, why you have joined this 5-day workshop. So your answer would be on that time, ma'am, I want to be a fluent speaker. I want to be an impressive speaker. I want to be an effective communicator, right? I think most of the students gave this response. So now my question is, what do you understand by effective communicator? I'll let you know in grammatical terms. Effective communication means once you use both the blending of the voices. Right? आप ऐसा करो कि whatever the sentences you are constructing, you use both the voices, active as well as passive, and then you construct whatever the sentences you are framing. So then you must know कि how you can be an effective communicator. ठीक है? Now, next is फर्स्ट यूसेज ऑफ द पैसिव वॉइस। देखो सबसे पहले तो पैसिव वॉइस का यूसेज क्या है। इफ यू रियली वांट टू बिकम एन इफेक्टिव कम्युनिकेटर, यू शुड हैव द गुड नॉलेज ऑफ द पैसिव वॉइस आल्सो। द सेकंड यूसेज इज इफ यू डोंट नो हु इज द सब्जेक्ट और द सब्जेक्ट इज इररेलेवेंट, if you don't know the subject, active, whenever you construct the active sentences, who is the hero? Subject is the hero. Doer is the hero of the sentence. My mother cooks food. What is the subject in this sentence?
Cooks.
No. My mother cooks food. What is the subject in this sentence? Doer
My
कौन
mother.
है? My mother.
My mother. Okay.
My mother is a doer. My mother is a doer. And she is a hero of this sentence. So you can easily construct that sentence into the active one. But it is not necessary that in each and every sentence, the subject is the hero. Whenever the object or the action is the hero, so then at that time you have to construct that sentences into which voice? Passive.
Passive.
जब आपका सब्जेक्ट हीरो नहीं है, आपका ऑब्जेक्ट हीरो है, आपका एक्शन हीरो है, in that situation you have to construct that sentences into the passive voice. This is the objective number 1, second of the passive voice. Right? जैसे सपोज करो, suppose some guests come to your home and you are saying, Acha, I'm just telling you the situation. You guys let me know in which situation you are talking with your guest. मेरा कुक खाना बना रहा है, खा के जाइएगा, ऐसे बोलते हो या ऐसे बोलते हो, खाना बन रहा है, खा के जाइएगा. In which situation you are speaking? Yes?
खाना बन रहा है, खा के जाइएगा,
खाना
ऐसे
बन
बोलते हैं।
रहा है, खा के जाइए, हम ऐसे ही बोलते हैं. So in that situation, we are giving more emphasis on the object. Object क्या है यहाँ पर? Food. Food is the object. It is totally irrelevant who is making that food. Either mom, either sister, either chef or the cook. कौन बना रहा है? We are least bother. हमारे लिए main emphasis क्या है? खाना. So in that situation, I will construct that sentence into the passive voice. The food is being prepared. Please have it. Food is being prepared. This is a passive voice sentence. Third situation, whenever the subject is irrelevant. Subject is irrelevant. Suppose I live in a rented house. I live in a rented house and I'm asking with my friend कि मेरा rent बढ़ गया है. मेरा rent बढ़ गया है. I'm least bothered who has increased my rent. Maybe the landlord, maybe the government policies, maybe the RWA society. I'm least bothered. मेरे लिए सबसे ज्यादा important क्या है? मेरा rent बढ़ जाना. So in which voice I have to construct that sentence? Passive voice. My rent has been increased. Full stop. Because for me, subject is irrelevant. Are you guys getting me? This concept, अगर suppose करो मेरे लिए बहुत मैटर करता है कि गवर्नमेंट पॉलिसीज ने रेंट बढ़ाया है. So in which voice you have to construct this sentence? Yes. गवर्नमेंट
Active.
पॉलिसीज ने रेंट बढ़ा दिया है, तो कौन सा वॉइस हुआ ये?
Yeah, we can use active.
एक्टिव वॉइस हुआ, क्योंकि गवर्नमेंट पॉलिसीज क्या हो गए यहाँ पर? ये सब सब्जेक्ट होगा. गवर्नमेंट पॉलिसीज हैज इंक्रीज्ड माय रेंट. लेकिन अगर आई एम नॉट सेइंग कि क्या नाम है, आई एम नॉट फोकसिंग ऑन हु हैज इंक्रीज्ड माय रेंट, but my focus is only on the object, so then I have to construct that sentence into the passive. The rent has been increased. Suppose I went to some mall और मेरी वहां पर गाड़ी चोरी हो गई. ठीक है? Again, I don't know. But the subject is unknown for me. The subject is unknown for me. I don't know who has stolen my car. Maybe some thief, maybe कोई gang है या पुलिस वाला ही involved है. I don't know. But मेरे लिए सबसे ज्यादा important क्या है? मेरी गाड़ी. My car. My car क्या है? Object है, subject है? Object है, subject है, सुनील?
Object है मैडम.
सब्जेक्ट नहीं है, ऑब्जेक्ट है, ऑब्जेक्ट है, ऑब्जेक्ट है, वो थिंग है, ऑब्जेक्ट है. सो आई हैव टू कंस्ट्रक्ट दैट सेंटेंस इनटू पैसिव. माय कार हैज बीन स्टोलन. माय कार हैज बीन स्टोलन बिकॉज आई डोंट नो हु हैज स्टोलन माय कार. Clear? Suppose you are not well, let's take one more example. Suppose you are not well and you go to path lab to check your blood sample. Again, कभी हम ऐसे बोलते हैं फलाना कंपाउंडर ने मेरा ब्लड सैंपल लिया. डू वी स्पीक इन दिस वे? नहीं. हम क्या बोलते हैं? ब्लड सैंपल ले लिया गया है. ब्लड सैंपल हैज बीन टेकन. फुल स्टॉप. बिकॉज वी लीस्ट बॉदर हु हैज टेकन माई ब्लड. मेरे लिए सबसे ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट क्या है? मेरा ब्लड सैंपल. Blood sample is most important. Blood sample becomes an object. The blood sample becomes a hero. So in that situation, I have to construct that sentence into which voice? Passive voice.
Passive voice.
Passive voice. So how I can construct? Blood sample has been taken. Okay, clear? Okay, now I'm giving you some sentences. Please write down quickly.
मैम जहाँ पे ऑब्जेक्ट रहेगा वो पैसिव वॉइस रहेगा.
Yes, yes. जहां पर हम
जहाँ
object
पे
हाँ जहां पर हम
जहाँ
object
पे
को
सब्जेक्ट
emphasize
रहेगा वहाँ पे
हाँ.
एक्टिव रहेगा.
हाँ एक्टिव रहेगा. ऑब्जेक्ट इन द सेंस एक्शन भी हो सकता है. सिद्धार्थ वी डोंट से ऑब्जेक्ट. देखो ऑब्जेक्ट का मतलब हमारे माइंड में क्या आता है? थिंक. जिस चीज को मैं पकड़ सकती हूँ, थिंक. बट डोंट कीप ओनली इन दिस वे. ऑब्जेक्ट मीन्स थिंक भी और एक्शन. जहां पर वी हैव टू गिव मोर एम्फेसाइज ऑन द ऑब्जेक्ट और द एक्शन, देन वी हैव टू कंस्ट्रक्ट दैट सेंटेंसेस इनटू द पैसिव.
Right.
Now I'm giving you some sentences. Please write, note down quickly. Then you can also analyze the some importance of the passive voice also. Write down. Mr. John is a grammar teacher. Mr. John is a grammar teacher. Full stop. Write down in a continuation. Don't note down into the lines. Mr. John teaches grammar in a very effective way. Mr. John teaches grammar in a very effective way. Next. Mr. John uses different methods. Mr. John uses different methods. Next. Mr. John loves their students. Mr. John loves their students.
And previous sentence, Mr. John is
Mr. John uses different methods. Full stop. Mr. John loves their students.
Mr.
Uses
John is a
different-
grammar teacher. Mr. John is a
Mr. John uses different methods. Mr. John loves their students.
okay. Second one. Mr. John is
Mr.
a
John
teachers.
Mr. John teaches grammar in a very effective way. Whatever you are writing. Mr. John teaches grammar in a very effective way. So just read these 4 lines, and what you analyze after reading these 4 lines, please let me know.
Okay. Mr. John is a grammar teacher.
Hmm.
Mr. John teaches. Mr. John teaches grammar in a very effective way.
Hmm.
Mr. John used the different methods.
Hmm.
Mr. John loves their students.
So what do you analyze? What do you analyze after reading these 4 lines? Although these lines are very short, so but still, I'm just asking what you analyze after reading these lines.
Some repetition and
Yes,
Yeah,
very good.
repetition.
Repetition. In every line, Mr. John, Mr. John,
Mr.
Mr.
John,
John,
Mr.
Mr.
John.
John. Don't you think so? It
Right.
seems like a first grader or the second grader student is writing. Mr. John, Mr. John. Suppose I don't want to use Mr. John, then you can replace Mr. John with the pronoun. आपने replace कर दिया. Now replace करके just read it. Mr. John को just replace with any pronoun and then again the paragraph.
Mr. John is a grammar teacher. He teaches grammar in a very effective way.
हाँ,
He uses different methods.
हाँ.
He loves their
Students. But Nikhil, don't you think so? Again, he repeat
Yes.
again.
Yes.
It again becomes very monotonous.
Yes.
Yes. So
Yes.
now, because why it is getting very monotonous? Because we are using only one voice, active voice. And now how to make this paragraph more effective by using both the voice. Some sentences you have to write in active, some sentences you have to make in passive. Then you can see the beauty of this paragraph. Are you guys getting this concept?
Yes.
Then how it become beautiful?
After learning the rules, Nikhil, after learning the rules, abhi I didn't discuss the rules now. So that's why I'm just giving you this impression कि why we need. सबसे पहले देखो निखिल, जब तक ये चाह नहीं होगी ना कि हम ये क्यों पढ़ रहे हैं, you cannot analyze that concept.
सही है.
So first you analyze कि why. देखो मैं हमेशा कहती हूँ, before starting how and what, you only have to focus on why. Once the why is very much clear into your mind, how and what तो अपने आप ही clear हो जाए. Clear this thing? So why we need the passive voice? When the subject is irrelevant, when the subject is unknown, when we don't want to repeat the same subject again and again, when we want to make our communication more effective, we have to use a passive voice. When the object is supreme, when the action is supreme, then we have to use the passive voice. Clear? So shall we start the rules now? Done?
Yes, ma'am, but I have a doubt.
Yes, yes,
Ma'am,
yes.
here John is very important in these sentences. Then how we where here where is the action is hero?
No, देखो, the Mr. John is a grammar teacher. This first sentence is right. ठीक है? Now the second sentence क्या था? Mr. John teaches grammar in a very effective way. So how? Nikhil, there is some noise from your end.
Okay, ma'am.
So what you can do, Mr. John teaches grammar in an effective way. You can make this sentence into the passive. The grammar is taught in a very effective way. Full stop. The grammar is taught in a very effective way. Full stop. Again, the third sentence you can make inactive. Fourth sentence, Mr. John loves their students. Their students are loved. Their students are loved. So some sentences you can make in active, some sentences you can make in passive, so that your paragraph or whatever the sentences you are structuring, that doesn't become the monotonous. Okay, done. So shall we start the rules?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Let's start from very basic, active to passive voice. Now read this. Siddharth, read this sentence.
The thief stole the laptop.
What is the subject in this sentence?
The thief
What is the verb?
stole
What is the object?
laptop.
Laptop. ठीक है? And the thief is the subject, stole is a verb, laptop is an object. Well tried.
Right.
अब हमने बचपन में क्या सीखा था? Whatever we have learnt in our childhood, subject का object कर दो, object का subject कर दो to make the passive voice. This we already know. ठीक है? तो अब हमने क्या करा? What we have done, object का subject, subject का object. Object को हमने subject की जगह पे place कर दिया और subject को the screen is visible ना? Yes. Object का subject, subject का object. तो object का subject बनाया, laptop stole the thief. This is a sentence, laptop stole the thief. Is this a right sentence? No, this is
No,
not
no.
a right sentence. How can the laptop stole the thief? So it means there is some problem. Object का subject, subject का object करने के बाद भी still something is missing. So this sentence is wrong. Laptop stole the thief is wrong. So what is the correct? This is the correct structure. What is that? हमने object का subject करा. Then we have to put the supporting verb. Then we have to use a main verb and then we have to use one connector and then object का subject. अब supporting verbs कौन से होते हैं? Supporting verbs देखो मैं सीधा I'm just directly coming to that. This is very simple. This is the supporting verb. These supporting verbs you should know. Whenever we talk about the present indefinite, so what are the supporting verbs you have to use is and are. If this is a past tense, you have to construct the passive voice of the past. So you have to use the supporting verbs of was and were. And future may you just put be. Be. So I'm just writing on the screen. That would be more beneficial for you. Active voice का structure तो you already know. Active voice. Active voice का structure you already know. What is that? Subject plus verb plus object. Passive voice. Please note down, this is very important. जो आपका object का subject होता है, that will come. Then आपका आता है supporting verb. Then आपका आता है हमारा main verb. Main verb हमेशा कौन सा फॉर्म में आता है? V3 फॉर्म में. This is a rule. Whatever the tense you are using, you have to use V3 form in the passive voice. Then you have to use one connector that is called by, and then आपका subject का object. This is the structure of the passive voice. सपोर्टिंग वर्ब्स जो होते हैं वो हमेशा कौन सी फैमिली से होते हैं? विच फैमिली? बी फैमिली. Supporting verb you also have to take from the B family. If I'm talking about the present indefinite, तो कौन से supporting verbs हम use करेंगे B family के? Is and are. Past. अगर past tense है तो what the supporting verbs? Was and were. And अगर future है so we have to take B. So if you see, these are all the members of the B family. Next important thing, if this is a continuous tense, ठीक है? If this is a continuous tense, whether it is present continuous, whether it is past continuous, whether it is future continuous, whether it is present perfect continuous, whether it is past perfect continuous, whether it is future perfect continuous, you have to add one extra verb that is called being. That is called being. B-E-I-N-G. Being is also again from which family?
B family.
B family. And if it is a perfect tense, perfect tense hai, so then you have to add one extra verb that is called be. Being. तो हमारा थोड़ा सा यहाँ पर रूल जो हमने ये जो रूल लिखा है, ये जो रूल लिखा था हमने, यहाँ पर एक हमारा एक एक्स्ट्रा वर्ब भी ऐड हो जाएगा. अगर हमारा कौन सा होगा? सॉरी, एक एक्स्ट्रा वर्ब हो जाएगा अगर हमारा कॉन्टिन्यूअस या फिर परफेक्ट टेंस है तो सपोर्टिंग वर्ब के बाद वी हैव टू पुट वन एक्स्ट्रा वर्ब. अभी we will take lot of examples. Now this is clear little bit 10 में से 5 clear this concept? Yes?
Yes.
Okay. Now, suppose the sentence is he loves English. He is a subject, loves is a verb, ROP क्या है? English. Okay. Now convert this sentence into the passive. सबसे पहले क्या आएगा? सबसे पहले आगे क्या आएगा? What thing you have to take in the beginning of the sentence?
Subject है.
No, if I want
English.
English, so English आ
English.
जाएगा. सबसे पहले
Object.
आएगा English. Then what is the supporting verb you have to use?
By.
By
Supporting verb. Supporting verb.
supporting verb is
Supporting verb. What?
Is.
Is. क्यों?
is.
Why is? Because now you have to check the tense. कौन सा tense है
Okay.
ये? Present tense है ये.
Present tense.
तो
Yes.
present
Is.
में कौन सा supporting verb लगता है? Either
Is.
is
Is.
or are. तो लेकिन English के साथ क्या लगेगा? Is.
Hmm.
Now English is. Then you
Is.
have to use main verb in the V3 form.
English is loved
Loved.
by him.
Loved.
Loved by him.
Yes. English is loved by him.
By him.
English is loved by him. Always you have to use verb in the V3 form. Then you have to put one connector by and then he का क्या हो जाएगा? Him. But nowadays this by or him is not mandatory. Because why we are unnecessary? हम हिंदी में ऐसे बोलते हैं. हम सिंपल बोलते हैं खाना बन रहा है. हम ऐसे बोलते हैं खाना मेरी मम्मी के द्वारा बन रहा है. We don't speak in our native language, so why we are unnecessary creating such a lengthy sentence in English? So nowadays, if it's not mandatory, you no need to mention by. But yes, at the time of writing, it is mandatory. At the time of speaking, it is not mandatory. Okay, it's totally up to you whether you want to use or not. I love English का क्या बना? English is loved. Full stop. खत्म. But if you are speaking, English is loved by me, that is also okay. Okay, so now rule. Now. So this is clear. Now this is a table. अगर subject हमारा she होगा तो object इसमें convert हो जाएगा her. That you should know. She का क्या हो जाएगा? Her. He का?
Him हो जाएगा.
Him. I का?
Me.
Me. They का?
Them.
Them. We का? Us.
Us.
You का you and vice versa. अगर object में आपका her होगा और उसको आपको subject में change करना होगा तो her की जगह क्या आएगा? You have to use she.
See. Yeah.
I am calling you. I am calling you. Okay, let's start. Practice. Siddhartha, just try. I am calling you. First, you have to check what is an object. Take out the object in the beginning. Then you have to check the tense. I am calling you. What is an object?
You
You सबसे पहले लेके आओ. हाँ, you.
you receive call by me.
No. You आ गया. उसके बाद you have to put one supporting verb.
Here we can use you are calling me.
You are calling by me.
You are being.
Passive.
You are
आपको
being.
बनाना
You
है.
are
Okay.
actually
You are being called.
एक मिनट का Siddhartha, you have to make this sentence into passive. Passive may never ever use ing. Passive may always use V3 form.
You were
V3 मतलब verb का third form.
called.
Third form. तो call का third form क्या होता है? Called. हाँ.
you were called.
You
were called me.
were.
You-
Why were?
you-
What
you
is
are-
the tense?
Okay,
हाँ.
you are called me.
called
You
by
are
me.
called me.
Okay, you are
You are
called.
called by me.
ठीक है, you are called by me.
Called by
अच्छा,
me.
आप देखो. Now, can anyone tell me what is the tense?
Present
You are-
tense.
Only present.
Continuous.
Present continuous.
Present
Continuous. So I already told you, na, whenever there is a continuous tense, so you have to put one extra verb. वो एक्स्ट्रा
Okay,
वर्ब क्या है?
okay.
बीइंग।
Being.
हाँ,
Okay.
देन
You
यू,
you you are
hmm,
called. You are being called by me.
yes, you are
You are
being called.
being called.
You are, whenever,
You are being
good.
called.
हाँ,
Yeah.
देखो, whenever you have to construct the sentences into the passive, so two things you must be keep into your mind. The first thing is what is an object. Second thing is what is a tense. ओके, आप क्वेश्चन आता है कि मैम कैसे पता चलेगा ऑब्जेक्ट क्या है इसके अंदर? देखो, देयर द टू वेज। सबसे पहले राइट डाउन, प्लीज नोट डाउन हाउ टू आइडेंटिफाई द ऑब्जेक्ट, क्योंकि पैसिव वॉइस में सारा गेम किसका है? ऑब्जेक्ट का। सो हाउ टू आइडेंटिफाई द ऑब्जेक्ट? द फर्स्ट इज ऑब्जेक्ट ऑलवेज कमिंग आफ्टर द मेन वर्ब। ऑब्जेक्ट ऑलवेज कमिंग आफ्टर द मेन वर्ब। दिस इज रूल नंबर 1। सबसे पहले आपको चेक करना है मेन वर्ब के बाद क्या आ रहा है। सुनील, कैन यू लेट मी नो व्हाट इज अ मेन वर्ब इन दिस सेंटेंस व्हिच इज रिटन इन W?
Calling.
वेरी गुड, कॉलिंग। कॉलिंग इज अ मेन वर्ब। कॉलिंग के बाद क्या आ रहा है?
Subject.
नहीं, कॉलिंग के बाद, कॉलिंग के बाद
You.
यू क्या है? अब हमारा ऑब्जेक्ट
अब-
बन गया है।
अच्छा,
ऑब्जेक्ट है,
object है।
यू हमारा ऑब्जेक्ट है। सेकेंड, what comes in place of an object? Either noun or pronoun. Either noun or pronoun. Only
Noun.
noun और pronoun। सिर्फ ऑब्जेक्ट की प्लेस में क्या आ सकता है? Either noun और pronoun। इसके अलावा अगर कुछ और आता है तो that is not an object। और अगर आपके सेंटेंस में ऑब्जेक्ट नहीं है, if there is no object in a sentence, you cannot make the passive voice. You cannot make the passive voice. Okay, so these are two ways to recognize what is an object in that sentence. तो देखो रूल क्या है। सबसे पहले क्या आ गया? आरओपी, और यू कैन से ऑब्जेक्ट देन वर्ब प्लस सब्जेक्ट पार्ट। सेकंड रूल है द सब्जेक्ट पार्ट इज नॉट नेसेसरी टू मेक द पैसिव वॉइस। सब्जेक्ट पार्ट इज नॉट नेसेसरी टू मेक द पैसिव वॉइस। Whenever you have to construct the sentences into the passive voice, one verb must be extra. One verb must be extra.
Our.
Now, please let me know if there is a present indefinite. So what are the extra verbs? Passive में बताना. If I have to construct that sentence into the passive voice और sentence लिखा हुआ है हमारा present indefinite में, तो कौन सी extra verb हमारे को use करना है? बोलो बोलो. Is an R. Is an R. If this is a past indefinite, so then what extra verb
Was.
we have to use?
Was were.
Was
Was
were.
were.
Very good. If there is a future indefinite, so then what extra verb I have to use? Be.
BER.
Be.
Be.
If there is a continuous verb, what extra verb I have to use?
Being.
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 Being. B-E-I-N-G. If
Being.
there is a perfect tense, then what extra verb I have to use?
Been. Been.
Been.
Been.
ठीक है, ये याद होना चाहिए. Okay, I have celebrated Eid. I have celebrated Eid. Nikhil, would you like to try?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, go ahead.
Eid have been celebrated by me.
Me. Very nice, Nikhil. लेकिन एक सिली सी मिस्टेक करी है निखिल. ईद क्या है? Eid is a name of a festival, so it becomes a singular subject. So singular
Has
is
been.
has.
Has.
Has
Eid
been.
has been. Eid has been celebrated. वेरी नाइस. देखो आप कैसे बनाया? व्हाट इज एन ऑब्जेक्ट? कैसे चेक करा? मेन वर्ब क्या है? मेन वर्ब इज अ सेलिब्रेट. सेलिब्रेट के बाद क्या आ गया? ईद. ईद इज अ नेम. नेम है, नेम होते ही के क्या बन गया? इट इज अ नाउन. सो सबसे पहले आप ईद को ले आए. अब आपको चेक करना है ईद के साथ हैज आएगा या हैव आएगा. ईद इज अ सिंगुलर, सो यू हैव टू पुट हैज, बट इट इज अ परफेक्ट टेंस, सो यू हैव टू पुट वन एक्स्ट्रा वर्ब दैट इज कॉल्ड बीन. एंड देन सेलिब्रेट का आपका थर्ड फॉर्म क्या हो गया? सेलिब्रेटेड। ओके, व्हाट इज टू नाउ? अच्छा, ये एक्स्ट्रा वर्ब एज आई ऑलरेडी टोल्ड यू, एक्स्ट्रा वर्ब कौन सी फैमिली से आता है?
B.
B family से।
प्रेजेंट इंडेफिनिट के एक्स्ट्रा वर्ब क्या है?
What is
B
इज एंड आर। कौन सी फैमिली है?
is a
कौन सी फैमिली है?
singular.
फैमिली कौन सी फैमिली है वो?
B family.
बी फैमिली।
B
बी
family. Sorry.
फैमिली। पास्ट इंडेफिनिट के एक्स्ट्रा वर्ब कौन से हैं?
Where?
पास्ट इंडेफिनिट
Was
वॉज
there.
एंड
Was
वर। वॉज
there.
एंड वर कौन सी फैमिली से है?
B family।
बी
Been.
फैमिली
B
से।
family.
फ्यूचर इंडेफिनिट में एक्स्ट्रा वर्ब कौन सा लेते हैं?
B.
बी। कौन सी फैमिली से है?
B
B
family।
family.
बी फैमिली से। whenever I have to make the continuous, एक्स्ट्रा वर्ब कौन सा आता है?
Being
Being.
Being। कौन सी फैमिली से है?
B
B
family.
B
से।
family
बी
only.
फैमिली से। whenever I have to construct the sentence into the perfect, एक्स्ट्रा वर्ब कौन सा है?
Being.
Being।
Been.
कौन सी फैमिली से है?
B
B से।
family.
B.
तो
So
ऑलमोस्ट B
whenever-
से है।
सब extra verb always be taken from the B family.
B family, yes।
Extra verb कहाँ बिठाते हैं? Where we have to sit the extra verb? Extra verb will always sit before the action verb. जो main verb होता है उससे पहले आपका में वो extra verb आएगा। Yes, she will be cooking rice. Manikandan ji, would you like to try? She will be cooking rice.
She will be cooking rice.
सबसे पहले check करो, how to check the object.
Rice।
It's rice.
Rice. Start with the
Rice.
rice.
Okay, rice.
फ्यूचर में जस्ट पुट द ऑक्सिलरी वर्ब एज इट इज। ऑक्सिलरी
Okay,
वर्ब कौन
right.
सा है? विल बी एज
Will
इट
be
इज।
okay. Rice will be cooked by her.
व्हाट इज द टेंस? कौन सा टेंस है? व्हाट इज द टेंस?
Uh, cooked by her.
नहीं, व्हाट इज द टेंस? टेंस कौन सा है?
Uh, Actually, it is a future tense.
फ्यूचर कॉन्टिन्यूअस। इट इज
Future future continuous. Yeah.
कॉन्टिन्यूअस जैसे ही आया, कॉन्टिन्यूस जैसे ही आया, व्हाट एक्स्ट्रा वर्ब यू हैव टू पुट?
Being.
अगेन
Okay. Okay. Rice will be
Being।
being cook.
Yes.
Being
Being cooked।
cooked.
Yes।
Being
by
cooked.
her. Rice will be being
Being
cooked
cooked.
by her. ठीक है, वैसे by her you can own it. So what is the next rule? Action verb will always be the last verb. ठीक है, जैसे as I told you, action verb will always be the last verb where you have to put the extra verb before the action verb. तो स्ट्रक्चर क्या बना? देखो स्ट्रक्चर क्या बना? सिंपल, वेरी सिंपल स्ट्रक्चर। पैसिव वॉइस का, आई एम जस्ट टेलिंग यू द पैसिव वॉइस स्ट्रक्चर। पैसिव वॉइस का स्ट्रक्चर क्या बना? ऑब्जेक्ट का सब्जेक्ट, उसके बाद आपका सपोर्टिंग वर्ब, उसके बाद आपका एक्स्ट्रा वर्ब, अगर आपका कॉन्टिन्यूअस है तो उसमें आप पुट करोगे, देन आपका मेन वर्ब। मेन वर्ब कौन सा फॉर्म में होगा? V3 फॉर्म में। एंड देन आपका कनेक्टर होगा बाय, एंड देन आपका सब्जेक्ट का ऑब्जेक्ट। क्लियर? सपोर्टिंग वर्ब देन एक्स्ट्रा वर्ब। अगर एक्स्ट्रा वर्ब सिर्फ दो केसेस में यूज होगा, वेदर इट इज अ कॉन्टिन्यूअस टेंस और वेदर इट इज अ परफेक्ट टेंस। मेन, ठीक है? क्लियर?